guys, welcome back to the Dance of Evolving. I appreciate your patience with me this week. I know I did not upload a video on Tuesday, but as I speak my truth, I always want to have the right why. And to be quite honest, I was mentally and physically exhausted and I needed to take some time. So I'm coming in strong with Thursday's video. And I've been truly inspired through what I've been going through this week to share a message with you guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Don't forget to hit the bell for notifications and to like this video in order to spread the message further. Today, we're going to be talking about overcoming negative thoughts. And this is a really huge deal because our negative thinking can happen subconsciously and it affects how we believe in ourselves. It affects everything that we do. So I'm going to be actually giving you, I've listed it out in steps. And so if you wait till the end, you'll get all the final steps, and it's 5 total steps and how to truly overcome negative thinking. I'm in the process of doing this myself. And it's a daily journey that I welcome. And I'm growing from it day by day. So I wanted to start with the fact that if we are aware of our ego, we have the power to get over oneself and experience life at its fullest. And that brings me to my very first step. My first step to overcoming negative thoughts is to have an awareness of our ego, and that we don't have to be our ego, and that life is more than what we just believe to be true. I came to this realization when I was listening to a podcast from Michael Singer. He wrote the phenomenal book, Untethered Soul, and then even a follow-up book since then. And he describes an analogy of like life as like looking into the lake. So to have an awareness of our ego, this really paints a picture for us. When we look into the lake of life, if we have not addressed our unmet needs, desires, our shadows, things that we're suppressing, our expectations on other people, we're only going to see ourselves as a reflection of this lake. Everything in life is a reflection of what we're going through. You can have 5 people in the same exact experience, and we're all going to have different takes on that experience based on what we have internally in our mind, our body, and our soul. So if we do the inner work, we're going to be able to see life in a more positive light, to see life for what it is and not for all of the issues that we still need to go through as our reality. We'll realize that that's not our reality, and that life is truly a beautiful lake. It's always been there. It doesn't have to be a reflection of me, which then goes into our step 2. And that is to be aware of our mental diet. We get so caught up on, let's think, like what we eat and how we work out. Well, what about our internal selves? It's like we don't want to have, it's like when you walk into a house after a huge Super Bowl party or something and you see stuff everywhere. But we don't want our inner self to look like that. Our mental diet affects who we are every day, how we treat people, the way we see every event. And so to overcome negative thoughts, we need to have a true awareness of our mental diet. I think it was Matthew McConaughey on a podcast talk about life is like a container. And we can only allow so many things into that container. Life is like a container that allows us to feel joy, peace, love, compassion within. However, if we allow negative thinking like worry, guilt, jealousy, fear to take up the space, the container of our life, we're not going to have space for what life truly has to offer us. And we do have a lot of control in this sense. So when we think of our mental diet, think if we fill up 70% of our container as negativity, and it's very clear then why we won't be able to enjoy life and feel the creativity and the passion that our soul is called to feel, because we only have room for 30% of what we actually should have in our life. So we have to think in life's container, what are we allowing in there? And how much of it are we allowing in there? This keeps us from living our highest vision of ourselves. So we can have a vision of ourselves, but if our container is 70% negative, well, we're not going to be able to fulfill that vision of ourselves. So I want us to think about, like, if we focus on our words and our actions, and then we think, is this matching to my grandest vision? This does require mental and physical effort. Our every thought, our word, our deeds, it is a move toward our consciousness. Because I'm speaking for myself, I didn't realize that we can spend, I've spent half of my life in unconscious negativity. And I didn't realize how much it was actually affecting me. So it's almost like a call to stop unconscious living. The more conscious you become, the more you realize what you subconsciously, what has been unconscious in your life that's been actually ruling you. We all have negative emotions and feelings, but we can choose. We can choose if we give it valuable space. We need to protect what resonates within us. We need to protect what we keep feeding, because what you feed is what will be in your container. So let's think about, I was thinking about back in the day when, okay, if you have a grudge on someone, you can have this like false sense of security and holding on to this grudge and thinking, oh, I'm going to have a sense of control. No, there's zero control. And finding fault in others and holding grudges, because if you think about it, you're actually giving your control away. You're giving space away that could be fulfilling to this grudge. And so it's not moving you toward your destiny, the destiny that you want. It's actually holding you back. And think, the more you pile on these grudges and these negative thoughts to other people, it fills up your container. And how are you supposed to feel that joy and love, and even love yourself, if you're looking at others through judgment? If we avoid looking within and we continue to make excuses and we're the victim, we're going to be stuck in negative thinking. I mean, it's a fact. If we look to external things for validation, for our confidence, for our joy, for our happiness, we're going to continue to crumble, and our mindset's going to be off. Because anytime we place expectations on external things to keep us at peace within, we're going to be let down. The external is not what brings us peace. It's not what brings us happiness. The external is ever changing. And so embracing that and knowing that we can move forward and that we can work on our relationship with ourselves, and having a mental awareness of actually what's going on and how our templates that we've chosen to live in, and that our stories that we've made up, how they are projecting on every single thing we experience in life. We can catch ourselves as we do this and just take it as a lesson learned, because true confidence and happiness is looking past all the things I want and all the things that I think I need and that I think are wrong with other people. And we just let go of those and we find ourselves within. So I always try to think, and I know I spoke in other videos, when you're going with the flow of water in life and you're following your intuition and you're trusting your intuition, you stay in line with your authentic self. It's like almost like you're in certain moments, you're like, well, I know I'm supposed to be here in this moment and taking this in and not worrying about anything else, but truly alive in this moment. That is when you're in line with your authentic self and you see life as it is. You see that lake of light as a beautiful lake, and it actually can be a very beautiful thing. This helps banish negativity, but not false positivity. You have an awareness of the negative thoughts, the negative circumstances, but you can reframe them. So how do you tell if you're doing this? Well, how I've been able to tell is I think, well, where are the places in my life that I feel like I'm being stepped on, and by whom? Where am I getting offended? Because this is where a lot of negativity and the victim mentality comes in. And if you can catch that, then you know where you need to dig deeper and where your healing needs to begin. And it can be layer by layer. So this is kind of, and even reflecting on the way that I act in the situations that I put myself in. For example, I have become aware where I've crossed boundaries for other people because maybe I didn't see my own worth in the past. and I've abandoned myself. And that will lead to the negative thinking, that will lead to a lower vibration of life, and it'll get you off your path. So get to the why of everything, anything that feels off, and step out of it. And emotion, emotion is created by motion. The way you move determines the way you feel. Think about who you want to be each day. Think about the thoughts that you're having, the actions, the words, everything that makes you you. Is it lining up to who you're called to be? And then address one thing at a time, knowing in faith that you can overcome this. Which leads me, okay, so let's think. Step one and step two, you have step one, you have an awareness of your ego. I mean, it's really, really, really important. And then you have step two, which is you've got to think about being aware of your mental diet and what you're letting in life's container. And then step three, decide to be curious instead of judgmental. And this is when you're looking at yourself and others. This has been changing my life because as soon as I get offended by someone or I look and things aren't how I expected them to be, because expectations is the start of all letdowns. um, I think, well, what has this person maybe been through to be in this state that they're in? Or what's the source of their behavior, or their anger, or their frustration? See, a lot of times we don't see people with compassion, but everyone's going through something. And everyone's perception is different, and perception is reality. So I've even taken a look at myself, and instead of placing blame on other people, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Is there a toxic relationship that I'm having with myself right now that I need to focus on? Because I don't need to fall victim of another person. I need to look, well, how is this affecting me? What is this teaching me about myself? So then to look at that through a non-judgmental lens and with compassion, so you can look at the person with compassion, the event that happened that was maybe hard or trying with compassion, as well as look at yourself and how you're dealing with it in the eyes of compassion. I mean, day by day, celebrating like small growth and giving yourself credit for what you've been able to do. It's almost like you're freeing yourself from a disease of making others wrong. And then in doing so, you'll free yourself from the disease of making yourself wrong and not good enough deep down constantly. And you can even go as far as if this is someone who's important to you or someone who you've had like an altercation with, sit down with someone and see maybe that they're hanging on by a thread and only acting from their ego for protection. Think about all of the times that probably we ourselves went rejecting someone or acting a certain way just so we wouldn't feel rejected or because we're feeling insecure. It reminds me of being a teacher, and I think about the why students act certain ways with each other. It's the same with adults. We have to come to each other through eyes of compassion and love and knowing that everyone's doing the best that they can where they're at. I mean, a person in the deepest anger could be the most wonderful person deep down when they get through those layers. So just get curious instead of judgmental. And that is your third way to overcome negative thinking. Which brings me then to step 4. And that is decide to find something. This is not always easy. Decide to find something to appreciate from any negative person or situation, like where we are right now. Have an awareness, a situational awareness, be real about it, but also find some gratitude in it. So here's an example. Like, let's say you're overwhelmed with just way too many things in life and too much to do, and you've got too much on your plate, and you know, your family that you're trying to juggle and trying to keep your relationship, you know, healthy. And then maybe you have kids and then you're working and you had a cut at work and, you know, you're not getting paid as much, or all these things could be going on at the same time. However, looking at things through a different lens. And what I mean with this is start to look at what's working and what's not working in all of these situations. Come up with a game plan one day at a time. Don't only focus on what you don't have. Bring gratitude into the mix. Have an equal opportunity to see what you have in a situation and what's not working. For example, I'm thankful I have a job, even though there was a cut. Maybe this is a way for me to stand up for myself, and show my worth at work. Or I'm so thankful, you know what? Yeah, I'm having a hard time finding time to spend with my family, but I have a family and I want to focus on that gratitude. So when I'm with them, I'm truly present. Your mind is such a powerful thing. And so you don't need to have that false positivity. You clarify and distinguish what's valuable to you in this event or situation. And then you come up with a plan day by day to help you feel empowered. Appreciate what isn't working as you come across these things, in the sense that anything that has been uncomfortable enough to cause pain is used to catapult us into powerful change. As much as we don't like to go through pain and hard times, those hard times are what actually make us stronger people inside and out. So instead of the fake positivity, be real in the now and what you're going through, but with the state of mind that everything can work out to benefit you in a positive way if you give what's working and what's not working an equal chance. So it's more like having a situational awareness, but reframing your thoughts to flip the script, like I said in my last video, which then leads me to step 5, our final step. Abandon the image of having to be perfect. You don't need to be perfect. So abandon the image of needing to be perfect. Imperfections are okay. They are ways for us to grow. And as soon as I notice that I'm not on track, I correct it. The purpose is not to be perfect. The purpose is to get a little bit better and stronger each day. That way, the only way to truly fail is if you completely quit. When I opened my coaching business for kids, I call it Stronger Than Yesterday, because I truly believe that as long as you can become a little bit stronger than you were yesterday, you're moving forward. Even if it's finding some of the negativity and the toxic things that you were letting into your container of life, that's moving forward. Any tiniest step is moving toward a more positive life in the highest vision of yourself. So, in order to do this, me personally, I've had to utilize my faith. And this has really, really helped me. The power to believe, to make certain that you create that certainty beside yourself, to you know that things are going to work out. And you put yourself in on the line and you overcome your fears and you take action. And you know that, if I mess up, it's okay. I don't have to be perfect, but I'm growing. I'm growing and I'm learning from any mistakes, but I'm not quitting. Remember, the only time you've truly failed is if you completely quit. So without faith, I feel like nothing exists for me. My faith holds me strong. And to know that no matter how hard it seems, this too shall pass, and there was a purpose for what I'm going through, that changes my negative thinking. So just to wrap up, negative thoughts aren't always the worst thing in the world. When you have them, view yourself without judgment and compassion. Take these thoughts in. Don't let them resonate. Don't feed them. Don't let them take up your container of life, but identify them and address them as they arise. Remember to pull back on judgment, and remember that we don't know what other people are going through to make them act a certain way. And think about everything that you've been overcoming and you're currently overcoming. Well, everyone around us is on their own soul journey, and who knows what they're going through right now. So to see with those type of loving kindness lenses, it makes such a difference. And I want to end with this final thought. And so if you stayed with me till the end, thank you so much. This thought really changed my thinking yesterday. New change can come from discomfort. We do know that. Here's the thing though, you're either motivated by inspiration each day, which is active, or desperation, which is reactive. You pick your choice and get good at inspiring yourself and keeping yourself in line and become the person who you are called to be. So I hope this was encouraging today. I appreciate all of you who are tuning in, who have subscribed, and who are watching these videos. And if you are encouraged, feel free to leave a comment down below. If you have any questions or any comments about any of this content, I love you all, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. And let's continue to grow and give.